Hey guys, and welcome to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. In this video we're going to be talking about a wish list of arcade games and cores that I would like to see come over to, in particular, the MiSTerFPGA and the Analogue Pocket. Obviously there's other FPGAs around as well, like the CDs, the MiST, and like the Tang range of FPGAs. But the ones that I'm most interested in are the ones that I use the most, which is the MiSTer and the Analogue Pocket. Now, I'm going to look at 5 games here. I tried to pick out 5 games. There's a lot more games that I would like to see, but I kind of limited it at 5. So this one here, what is this? This is Night Slashers. Before I talk a little bit more about this game, there's a little bit of good news, because previously I did a wishlist video and I try and keep my expectations in check, but some of the games in that video have actually come out and we're all enjoying them now. One of them was Shadow Dancer. Another one was WWF Superstars. Then I mentioned Toki, and a little bit different from my usual arcade cores, I really wanted the Neo Geo Pocket Color Core, and we have a beta version of that. So guys, we are eating good in FPGA gaming, and hopefully it can just keep getting better and better. So this game here, guys, it's Night Slashers. What can I say about it? It is rock and roll, it is metal. You can pick out 3 characters and you just fight zombies, monsters, Dracula, name it. They are in here. You like beating up werewolves, you can do it in this game. Now, I got a new love for this game because recently I played the remake. Now, the remake got a lot of hate, but for me it's a 6 out of 10 game, and honestly sometimes I enjoy playing 6 out of 10 games. I understand it's nowhere near as good as the original, but I did a live stream of it and I kind of enjoyed it, and then I went back to the original and I was like, yeah, it is amazing. The original is just absolutely fantastic. So yeah, would love to see this come over to FPGA Gaming. So this is on the Data East ARM6 hardware. Other games that are on here as well is Captain America and the Avengers. That's something that I did play in the arcade and I so look forward to. Another game is Dragon Gun, which is a light gun game. I've never played it beyond emulation, so I never saw that one in the arcade. Not much nostalgia for it. Then another one is Fighter's History. Fighter's History is a fighting game. If I remember correctly, this might have been one of the games that got sued by Capcom for having too much of a resemblance to their popular Street Fighter 2 game. Next up, there's a game called Locked and Loaded, which is also known as Gun Hard, which looks like a light gun game. Now, I tried that game in emulation. From what I remember, emulation of that particular game is really, really bad. There's a lot of graphical glitches. Who knows, maybe by now something has been fixed in the software emulation side, but again, all this stuff will be brilliant to get on FPGA. FPGA consoles like the MiSTer and the Analogue Pocket. And then the final game is Tattoo Assassins, which, if I'm not mistaken, it's a prototype. It may not have actually been released. It may have only been play tested in specific areas. It's a janky beat 'em up. It's like Mortal Kombat. Everyone's got tattoos. I tried it out. I didn't really think much of it, but the main game on this system is Night Slashers. That is what I want. But what usually happens is when you do a specific piece of arcade hardware, then it opens up options for other cores that are available on that hardware. So Night Slashers is one of them. There's actually a lot of games on this system that I really want to see come over to FPGA. This is Elevator Action Returns. Now, I don't mind the original Elevator Action, but boy, oh boy, is Elevator Action Returns an upgrade. It is action. It is fun. You get to shoot stuff, and guys, I can tell you, you will never ever have so much fun with elevators. So I initially kind of got to grips with this game on the excellent Sega Saturn core on the MiSTerFPGA by SRG320. I started playing it and I was like, wow, this game is excellent. So I started looking at the arcade adaptation of this, found out it was on the Taito F3 hardware. Now I'll bring up a list of games that's on the Taito F3 hardware. There's too many to read out in this video, but as well as Elevator Action Returns, we've got excellent games like Arabian Magic, Bubble Symphony, which I think might be Bubble 2 in some form. Then we've got Darius Gaiden and like Darius Gaiden Extra. We've got a whole bunch of puzzle bobble games. I really like the puzzle bobble games because I always say, and people always say anyone can play it. You're right, anyone can play puzzle bobble. But I particularly remember that when we used to play fighting games like Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo in the arcade, and our girlfriends were with us, the girlfriends kind of always went over and started playing puzzle bobble games. So I have a lot of nostalgia for those, even though I'm colorblind and I can't get the most out of those games. Then we've got stuff like some shmups like Ray Force and Twin Cobra 2. These games are fantastic. This is a fantastic system, and I really do hope one day we get this on FPGA platforms such as the MiSTer and the Analogue Pocket. I know co-developer Raki, also known as @RCA Victor Co, this is something that he's working on. No timeline on that, but hopefully one day in the future we will see elevator action returns in action. Another arcade core I would love to see is Rainbow Islands. Now this is a little bit of a weird one because I absolutely love this game, but I used to play this on my Commodore Amiga. I've only played the arcade version on emulation, and I've played it on different platforms such as the PlayStation, but I really like this game. And I have to say, if you're feeling down and you're a little depressed, play Rainbow Islands. The way the colors look, the way the soundtrack is, it will definitely make your day. It is just a great game. The soundtrack, absolutely banging. Now, this is on the Taito 68000 based hardware. We've already got games that are on similar hardware like Rastan or Rastan Saga, but this will also bring Operation Wolf, or it could bring Operation Wolf. It's on similar hardware, and Operation Wolf is a light gun game. It's something that I enjoyed in the arcade. A little bit of trivia here, I actually completed Operation Wolf on the Commodore 64 using like one of the Atari style joysticks. That's how much I like the game. But yeah, Rainbow Island, if you haven't played it, definitely check this out. I think the PlayStation 1 version and the PC Engine CD versions are good as well. But hey man, arcade's arcade, and it would be great to get a core of this. I think this is something that is on Hotego's radar, so hopefully we'll see a release from Hotego sometime in the future. Again, no timeline, nothing concrete here, but hopefully this is something we will get. Another one that I'm so looking forward to, because I played this a lot in the arcade. I played it with a buddy of mine, Chris, who initially told me about this game, and that's what used to happen when we were young. When a new arcade game came out and it was available in our local area, like in sometimes we had it in convenience stores, often in like chip shops and kebab shops here in London when I was growing up. So when we got a new shop, like you would tell your friends, like my friend would come around my house, you'd be like, you know, this is before we had mobiles or anything, so you either had to call the house phone, or more often than not you just turn up at someone's front door. And it was like, hey, there's this game, it's Snow Brothers, it's amazing, you have to check it out. So I went with my buddy Chris, and we used to play this a lot. We played it 2 player sometimes, but more often than not we used to play games like 1 player, watch each other play, and then kind of take turns, like rotate lives, or someone would be better at a particular boss or a particular segment of the game and we'd swap over. But this is an excellent game. This is on Toplan Unique hardware. Now I'm not so interested in the other games on this system. Now there's one game called Jan-O, which looks like a straight out Mahjong game. Not interested at all. Then we've got Mahjong Sisters, which looks like a raunchy Mahjong game. Again, not really for me. And then the final game on here, as well as obviously Snow Brothers, is a game called Wardener, also known as Pyrus, and Wardener no Mori. Now I am not really interested in that game. This is what I want. And a little bit of trivia on Snow Brothers. On the Nintendo Switch, it might be out for different systems as well, but on the Nintendo Switch there is a new Snow Brothers game out. It's like a remaster, like a remade game. It's the original game. It's done really well. It's in 16:9 aspect ratio without everything being squashed. It's got different modes in it where as you go through it you can pick the enemies, right? So there's a whole bunch of selectable characters. It's really good, and sometimes it goes on sale for like, I don't know, I think I picked it up at launch, but I did see it go on sale when a friend picked it up for like £2 or £3. So keep an eye on that one. It's really good. But what really would be amazing is this arcade classic, a single screen platformer, to come out on our beloved MiSTer and the Analogue Pocket, as well as other supported FPGA consoles. And my number 1 game, every time I do my most wanted course, so number 5 to number 2, you can shuffle those around in almost any order that you want. Number 1 will always be CPS3, and in particular for this game here, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. So as a kid I played a lot of Street Fighter 2, the different iterations of Street Fighter 2, but then I took a big gap from gaming, and when I wanted to go arcade again, the only Street Fighter game that had a scene at that time, or a big scene, was Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. So I got into it, I played it a lot, I made a lot of friends just from playing this game in the arcade and online, and this for me would completely complete the MiSTer setup for me. It will be the crown jewels, the holy grail, the pinnacle of FPGA gaming. Now I know a lot of people say it's not possible, some people say it could well be possible. I know a lot of people have previously said stuff like Nintendo 64 and Sega Saturn wouldn't be possible, but you know what, we have those calls now. Ortega recently said that there may be a way of getting a MAME implementation over onto the MiSTer, and that's something hopefully he will look into next year and not this year. But this is a fantastic game. Now the CPS3 system, a lot of people that don't know the games on here, especially Third Strike or like the JoJo's games, they don't understand why would you invest so much time in this system when it's only got 6 games, when you can do something like say PGM or like Taito F3, something that's got a whole heap of games once you do your reverse engineering work. Well, this has this, like I said, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, one of the best fighters of all time. The game is just amazing. If you haven't played it, play it now. This footage here is from Fightcade, and this is a buddy of mine called Harmonaz who's just got an amazing Akuma, so I thought I'd use that footage because if I was playing, I'd be nowhere near as good as, well, as good as he is. So the games on here, there's a game on here called JoJo's Venture. Now that's a game that has a massive following. I think JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was like the sequel, and that has more of a following, or like a different version of it. I'm not too familiar with the games. I've played them. They're very good. They're very, very technical. And then you've got the 3 iterations of the Street Fighter 3 game. Street Fighter 3 New Generation, Second Impact, and Third Strike, what you're seeing on screen now. The final game is a little bit of a weird one. It's a game called Warzard, also known as Red Earth, and it's a fighter, but it's weird. You can be like a giant dinosaur against a lion that carries a sword. It just has a whole bunch of different characters in there. I don't really know that game. If it did come to FPGA Gaming, obviously I would try it out. I have played it against CPU, but I don't really know anyone that plays that game competitively. But guys, what I'm interested in, what are your top 5? Let me know in the comments. What are you most looking forward to? What is your biggest desire for FPGA Gaming? Have you got what you already wanted, or is there more that you want? Now keep them kind of realistic, right? Something that may well fit on the MiSTer and the Analogue Pocket, because those are the target platforms for this video. If you're going to say, yeah, I want Dreamcast, we kind of know Dreamcast isn't going to be possible on those. So let me know what you guys think. This brings us to the end of the video. Now, I did say keep our expectations in check, but you know what, let's do a little bit about the next generation of FPGA gaming. So when the next generation, more powerful FPGA gaming consoles come to the market and we can get stuff going, my number one want, my biggest one, is Naomi and Dreamcast, mainly because of this game, Capcom versus SNK 2. This is a game that I played a lot. I have a lot of nostalgia for it, and this is something that I would love to see. It's very, very possible that powerful devices in the future, such as a Replay 2 and potentially a MiSTer 2, if something like a MiSTer 2 releases, something like a Dreamcast may well be possible on this. So the future's open. Definitely let me know what you think. Sorry to squeeze this one at the end, even though I said let's keep our expectations in check, but I thought I would end up on something, you know, for far in the future. Anyway guys, that's really it for this video. Be absolutely awesome to one another. If you're not subscribed to the channel, then a subscription and a like is always super duper appreciated. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.